What's up, Miami? Anthony Walker here, checking in. Ready to get it started, ready to get it going. Happy to be home. Go Fins.
Miami, what it do, baby? It's Jody Fortson. I'm excited to finally touch down. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to go ahead and string some wins together, and let's do it. Let's bring it home, baby. Fins up.
What's going on, Dolphins Nation? It's your boy, Neville Gallimore. Excited to be here. Looking for the opportunity to compete. Fins up. Let's get it, you heard? Yeah.
The Miami Dolphins had so much work to do this offseason, coming off a year where they were one of the best offenses I've seen in a long time. Just so electric with their speed. Tyreek, Jalen, Waddle, devon, achane, right? They are so quick. They also added Jonnu Smith this offseason. However, they needed to make some changes to this defense. Last year, they were one of the worst defenses in football, ranking number 22 in points allowed per game, number 26 in touchdowns allowed per game, and also number 22 in completion percentage. Just not good enough when it mattered the most on the defensive side of the ball. Now, with that being said, they came out here and added 4 defensive day one starters, but also added like 5, 6, 7 new defensive players into the rotation as well. I mean, they have made the right changes, and this team is preparing for a massive run next season. In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about the biggest signing so far, and if this video does well enough in terms of likes, we're going to drop a part 2 covering everything else. So make sure you guys hit that like button. And with that being said, comment down below a letter grade in your opinion that they've done so far with these new signings. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. Now, the first thing I want you guys to look at here is right here, right? This is Miami's defense from last season defending the pass. So right away, we see number 22 in completion percentage allowed, number 15 in pass yards allowed per game, and number 16 in interception percentage. Now, obviously, they didn't like how they weren't forcing too many turnovers in the air last season, which is one of the main reasons they decided to cut Xavien Howard. However, with that being said, they brought a new day one starting corner. Let's talk about Kendall Fuller.
Chris Greer said, hey, I heard you. I'm going to make some valuable pickups. May not cost us a ton of money, but guys that we know can come in and help us win. And that is Kendall Fuller. I know.
All right, here we go. The first thing I want to show you about Kendall Fuller is some of his highlights. Now, this is versus the Dak Prescott-led Dallas Cowboys. Now, you're going to see him at the top of your screen right here. He is playing a zone coverage. Now, the one thing I love about Kendall Fuller is he has a perfect balance of being able to take the risk and jump a route, but also knows when to be conservative. Now, on this route specifically, we get to see an out route here by CeeDee Lamb. Right when Dak Prescott throws his football, he immediately jumps it, intercepts it. It's going to be a pick 6. However, I want you guys to realize the whole time Kendall Fuller looking right at Dak Prescott, noticing where he's going with the football. Whenever you're in a zone coverage, your job is to read the quarterback's eyes, and that's exactly what he does, and it helps him get into the lane for a pick 6. Exactly what you want to see. We go down the line a little bit here to the next play, and again, we are in straight man coverage. Once you see this safety boom up here to the flat route on the tight end, we notice one thing. This is man-to-man coverage. Now, what we'll see is Kendall Fuller, top of your screen. We got a curl route, comeback route here by CeeDee Lamb. Now, boom, Dak throws it to the outside shoulder, which is actually where you want the ball to go. But look at Kendall Fuller. Gets there on time and makes a beautiful play on the football to get a deflection. I love this pickup here for the Dolphins. They needed someone like this. Let's look at some of his stats. Now, the one thing you'll notice about Kendall Fuller here is, right, he's a very consistent tackler. However, look at the interceptions, right? Let's watch since he's been in Washington, right? The Commanders, 4 interceptions, 1, 3, 2. The man has been really, really good in terms of getting interceptions in his career. Only 2 seasons, his rookie year, and then 2019, where he only played 11 games, right? He's had an interception every single season. And when we look back to their defense, right, hopefully they will create more turnovers, more interceptions this season, right? I think this is a good pickup for their defense. Adding a guy like Kendall Fuller could change everything for that aspect of the field. But they weren't done there. They actually added another game changer in the middle of the field.
I just think that's my game. That's the way that I play. Physical, play fast. And so I think what I do, can be impactful for this team and also still growing,
All right, guys, before we get into Jordyn Brooks and what he adds to the Miami Dolphins, do me a big favor, hit the like button. If we get this video up to 400 likes, I will be posting non-stop Dolphins content for the rest of the offseason, including free agency, draft, trades, anything you can think of. I got you guys covered. And also, I feel like not too many people cover the Dolphins. I got you guys covered. From here on out, I'm going to post videos if this video gets up to 400 likes. Also, subscribe if you're new. It's free. Doesn't cost anything to subscribe, right? But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. Let's go, Jordyn Brooks. Now, the one thing you'll notice about Jordyn Brooks is he's young, 26 years old, a former first-round pick of the Seattle Seahawks, but one of the most consistent tacklers in the NFL over the past 3 seasons. You go back to 2021, 184 tackles in his second season. I mean, he was creeping up to that 200 tackles mark, which is absolutely insane. He does drop back into coverage pretty well, but he's a guy that is going to be able to stop the run, right? He's a guy that can come up, enforce your team and make big time stops, right? Last season, he had 10 run stuffs as a middle linebacker, 32 over the past 4 seasons, right? And, you can count his rookie year, but I would really say this is going into his 4th season. That rookie year didn't really play too much, but then, boom, broke out in his second season, coming off 2023, where he had 111 tackles, had to take a little bit of a step back, with Bobby Wagner coming to town. But with that being said, 62 solo tackles, 4.5 sacks as well, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, an interception. He just broke out last season, and he is going to come over to Miami and start to lead this defense, man. He really is. Now again, when we look at the stats, Miami last season was pretty damn good versus the run. Number 7 in yards allowed per carry, number 12 in rushes allowed per game, number 7 in rush yard. I mean, they were really good in terms of stopping the run for the majority of the year. But again, I think this comes down to just having a guy to replace, the people they lost in the offseason. Obviously, they've lost a lot of people, but Jordyn Brooks is a guy who is young, quick, physical, and does not have a big ego. He is someone that just loves the game of football, and that is very important when you talk about this football team, right? Jordyn Brooks will step in, and I'm sorry you can't really see that right now, but boom, there you go. Jordyn Brooks will step in and be the day one middle line or inside linebacker starter alongside David Long Jr., maybe Anthony Walker as well comes in, but then they add another big time player off the bench here in Shaquil Barrett. Let's talk a little bit about Shaquil. Now, this signing was very interesting to me. If we look at his sack numbers here, 2019, 19.5 sacks, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL that season. And since then, he's not really been up to par since that, right? 8 sacks, 10 sacks, 3 sacks, only playing 8 games in 2022. And then you could say in 2023, just really wasn't the same after that 2022 injury, right? Played at 4.5 sacks, 52 tackles, which isn't bad for him. 52 is actually, pretty good. Also 1 interception as well. But obviously, with Shaq Barrett being 31 years old, he's not a guy that's going to be expected to, play a lot, right? When you look at the Miami Dolphins, depth chart right now, you have Bradley Chubb, you have Jalen Phillips, who's coming off an injury, right? So obviously, Shaq Barrett is your second guy in command, right? He is going to be in the rotation. He's going to be a guy who can give you a beautiful spot start, but he doesn't need to be the day one starter. He can come in, he can be a backup, rotate in, and now you have Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and Shaq Barrett. I mean, that is an insane trio of edge rushers, and I think this is definitely a sign that they've gone better from last season. And not to mention, last season, they were the best team in the NFL in terms of defensive sack percentage. And like I said, they just got better with Shaq Barrett. What an unbelievable addition as a role player going forward. But boom, they weren't done there, right? We have Jordan Poyer. Oh my, another great addition coming over from Buffalo. Let's talk a little bit about Jordan Poyer. Now again, I want you to notice this column right here. This is interceptions, 2017, 5, 4, 2, 2, 5, 4, 0, okay? So yes, he's coming off a season where he didn't really get too many turnovers, and that is one of the main reasons why the Bills were like, okay, let's move on from Jordan Poyer, let's go a little bit younger. But the fact that he has been getting so many consistent interceptions over the past maybe, 6 years or so? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, been getting so many interceptions, and the bulk of those 24 have come in these past 7 seasons. Now, the Miami Dolphins get a guy here in Jordan Poyer who knows the division. He'll play well against, New England, the Bills, especially versus Josh Allen, goes against him in practice every single day for the past 6 or 7 years, right? And then you got the Jets as well, who's played them before too. So now he has familiarity with the division, right? So you bring in a guy who is known for turning over the football, and last year, again, we need to get this number up here. That 2.46% needs to get that number up. Not only does Kendall Fuller add that, but so does Jordan Poyer. Now, I know Jordan Poyer isn't the youngest guy in the world, but when you look at it from a, schematic standpoint, this is a perfect fit. A guy who can create turnovers. And when you talk about the two most important things in the NFL in terms of winning football games is getting stops at the line of scrimmage, right? One, forcing turnovers is the number 2, right? So you build the offensive line and defensive line up. They've done that. But now bringing in a DB who can force turnovers. Him and Kendall Fuller will allow them to have the football more on offense than the defense has to be on the field, keeping them more rested, have more stamina. I think Jordan Poyer is an excellent fit, not because of, and you didn't even talk about the veteran leadership he can bring over here as well. That's something he can bring to Elijah Campbell or, Kader Kahu, right? He can start, and Javon Holland as well, who is really, really good, but a younger guy, 2021 second round pick, right? So Jordan Poyer, not only a day one starter, not only a veteran leader, but a guy who can help you win the Super Bowl this season with the ability to turn the ball over, get turnovers, create new opportunities for the offense. I mean, man, what a start to the offseason for Miami. And then there's Benito Jones, a guy who I believe went undrafted back in 2020, but a guy who can make a difference. Now, you see here they have him as a nose tackle. Now, when we go back to Miami's rush defense, right, they were really good overall. However, struggled a little bit in terms of stopping rushing touchdowns in the red zone. So you can tell the front office did a really good job. Now, Benito Jones is a guy who is 6'1", 335 pounds, only 26 years old, going into his 4th NFL season, right? Used to play for Miami back in 2020, but what we notice is, kind of a stuffer, right? He'll be coming in the game near the goal line, near the red zone. He played in all 17 games of back-to-back seasons. You might think, well, 26 tackles in a season is not good. Yeah, well, listen, he only plays in the red zone area. He doesn't play full 3 downs. He's a nose tackle. I mean, he's going to be a guy who plays specifically in the red zone and, on 3rd and 1, 2nd and 1s, like those type of formations is when he gets into the game. Benito Jones is a day one starter, maybe, unless they draft someone better. But I think this is a huge pickup for them and can fill up that nose tackle role that they have going forward. Now, there are so many other guys that they've added. This video is getting quite long, so I am probably going to do maybe 1 or 2 more guys. We'll probably do, Neville Gallimore also I think could be really good. And then maybe we'll do a Jonathan Harris. But then if you guys want part 2, comment down below saying part 2. Right? And if I see, a decent amount of part 2s, I will make sure to drop a whole nother video breaking down Isaiah Mack, Davion Nixon, Anthony Walker, Saran Neal, right? And then you got Jonnu Smith, Aaron Brewer, Jody Fortson. I will break down all those guys in the next video if you guys comment down below saying part 2. But let's get right into, let's talk about Neville Gallimore. Now, Neville Gallimore is a guy who can, put some pressure on a quarterback, right? He's not going to be a big-time sack guy. He's not going to be a guy that's going to get you 4, 5, 6 sacks in a season, but a guy who can rotate into the lineup, put some pressure, as well as, kind of clog up the middle as well. Just be an extra body for them. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a day one starter. If you remember the depth chart, he looked like he was probably going to sit on the second, maybe third string level, but that is all subject to change. That is just projections, right? Neville Gallimore is a guy who could win the starting job. He's a pretty good run stopper up the middle, can clog the middle, can block shed really well, can get to the quarterback, create some pressure, and force some bad throws, right? So I do believe that Neville Gallimore is a good addition. I don't think he is a guy who is going to move the needle, crazily, but he is someone that does help them going forward. Looks like he's going to be more in a defensive end role instead of a nose. He definitely won't be a nose tackle. I think he's about 301 pounds at maybe 6'1". So pretty big guy, but definitely not nose tackle worthy. But at the same time, this is where I think he'll get a lot of his burn. Like we said, they were one of the worst teams in the NFL in terms of stopping the run at the goal line. I think this is the area where he really will shine for the Miami Dolphins, right? So right away, you add Benito Jones, you add Neville Gallimore, and you add, a couple other guys in Jonathan Harris, Isaiah Mack, Davion Nixon. Again, we'll talk about them in the next one. But I think these are some really good additions. And I really do believe, guys, I really do believe they have really made some good moves this offseason, alone with Benito Jones, Jordyn Brooks, Kendall Fuller, Jordan Poyer, Neville Gallimore, Shaq Barrett as well, right? They made some insanely good moves, and you could tell their main focus was not the offense, and it shouldn't have been the offense. It was the defense, and they have gone better, at least so far. Now, with that being said, guys, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think Miami needs to do next? And like I said, if you guys want part 2, comment down below part 2. What should they go out for next? I think they need some more safety depth here. Probably another corner as well, right? You don't got too many corners I really trust. You do bring in another Buffalo guy in Teron Neal, who's a special teamer. Talk about him in the next video as well. I love Cam Smith. I think he can take a major jump up next year, especially with Kendall Fuller and Jalen Ramsey kind of mentoring him. But man, this team is better. They still have a lot of work to do offensively. They had a couple of new day one starters in Aaron Brewer, Jonnu Smith. I think Jody Fortson is a guy who I really like. I think he could end up being the number tight end 2 on this team next season as well. So, and a big jump up for this man right here as he gets healthy. So let me know what you guys think. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next Dolphins update. Hopefully it's soon. Peace.